Every year, millions of animals just like this end up dying from water pollution. Don't drink that, it's polluted. This is a great example of point source pollution, a single identifiable source that discharges pollutants into the environment. Another example could be the smokestacks that fill our air with harmful toxins. These pollutants can include sewage, dirt, and other sediment, and harmful chemicals used in agriculture. Opposite of point source pollution is non-point source pollution. This type of pollution comes from a wide variety of different sources. It cannot be traced back to a single source. Examples of this include runoff, acid rain, and burning of fossil fuels in cars. Sewage from your home can cause eutrophication.
Organic matter in human waste serves as food for algae. The excess food causes the algae to overpopulate, which then decreases dissolved oxygen levels, making other aquatic life unable to survive in the ecosystem.
One way to reduce sewage pollution is to use a trickling filter, which is basically a rotating sprinkler above some rocks or sand, and when sewage pours on top of the rock or sand, any pollutants that make it down close towards the bottom become home to some bacteria that actually help break down other pollutants. And another way is to simply do not throw chemicals, paints, oils, or medicines into the toilet or sink. Scientists actually measure pH levels mostly to see how acidic the water is when it comes to sewage pollution. Turbidity tests can be used to see how much more waste is in the water as well. And finally, biological tests can be used by placing some plants, animals, or microorganisms into the ecosystem to monitor any behaviors that might mean something is wrong. So one example of this is the copepods.
Eroded soil, which can contain nutrients or fertilizers, can be deposited where it's not needed. This deposition increases water turbidity, making it difficult for light to penetrate the water. This then causes problems for aquatic plants that need sunlight for photosynthesis.
Ways to reduce dirt runoff and pollution into nearby lakes and streams include having farmers use different methods to grow their crops so they leave less earth exposed, and for them to plant grasses in the fields that aren't being used to keep the soil intact. Also, at construction sites, the workers can put up silt fences or hay bales to trap the dirt and contain it while they build. Scientists use the pH tests and the turbidity tests for this to see how contaminated the water is, much similarly to the sewage pollution tests.
Runoff from farms usually contain fertilizers. Most fertilizers contain concentrated forms of nitrogen and phosphorus. These nutrients, when not absorbed by plants, can run into rivers and streams, contributing to algal blooms that derive waterways of oxygen.
Ways to reduce fertilizer runoff includes not using as much fertilizers as most people do, but only enough as you need for your crops. Other ways are to plant grass and bales of hay where potential runoff could occur. Now, scientists measure fertilizer runoff basically the same as sewage through pH tests and biological tests. Laws that govern water quality include the Safe Drinking Water Act and the Clean Water Act, and if you're caught violating either one of these, you can have up to $25,000 worth of fines or 1 year in jail.
The choice is yours.